give my high respect to Venerable Sangha. Dear Lady Devotee, ladies and gentlemen, today, welcome to Dhammika Live Dhamma Santana. Today, we will talk on the topic nurturing the children or nurturing the offspring with the Dhamma. So this topic have been talked already last Friday in Khmer. So today is the English version. So we will talk in English for the 1 and 15 minutes from now on. So as I remember from last Friday, we really enjoy with what the speaker raised up, especially the speaker raised up about the to say with the kid, how to say with the kid like I love you, show the word or use the word love to the kid. So it's really effective to me, and I learned that when I start to say I love him, it's really interesting him, and he suggests me to say it again and again. So I said it several times when we are together, and uh, I feel that it is a powerful word and really gentle and initiative word. When I said it to my kids, I feel good. Normally, it is hard when we are wake up in the morning. Normally, we need to wake them up. So it's hard to wake them up. So I produce a loud voice to them. So that's why he said to me back like he shout to me back, why you said very loudly, I know that I wake up, something like that. So it's like a fighting situation, a battle feel like we throw to each other word. So when I talk to him like more gentle, like to start to say like I love you, Gon, and it is our new day. So we are lucky to still alive, and we like so do our best for today. So he feel really like this word, and he want to listen to this again and again. So it's I feel that when I said this, I feel that it is a good feeling when we give the good word, and then the receiver also feel good. So I have learned that, and thank you very much. So today we will meet our speaker, and also uh, I would like to say thank you to Venerable Sok TV, who is the founder of the Dhammika Life. And I am really happy to be here with Sukhip again. So it is not only as a moderator, I am also the listener, and I also take the good part of the program to practice in my life also. And I would like to say thank you to Sister Bokka, who also support with the technical. And also, thank you to the whole team. We have a big team right now for the Dhammika Live, who share the idea and comment, and also the topic. And also, special thanks to the viewer who follow us. And you can also give us the comment or idea or ask question to the speaker. And yes, and special thanks to all the guests. And so next, let's follow Supir. Supir will tell or bring all of you to know more about the speaker background. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Contier. First of all, I would like to pay my homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Would like to thank to all contacts, Dhamma friends, and ladies and gentlemen for spending time with us tonight for our Dhamma talk. As Sister Contier already introduced, our topic today is about nurturing your offspring with Dhamma. How do you teach your children to be girls? Why Dhamma is important for our children in their early childhood? What is the Buddha teachings on this regard? This question will be answered by our speakers tonight. So Again, we would like to thank to all Dhamma friends for following us as always. Last week, the same topic were discussed in Khmer, and tonight our discussion is conducted in English for the benefit of all the listener that may not be able to speak Khmer, so we can follow together of our discussion. So tonight we have our great speaker joining us, and first of all, I would like to introduce Ponte Kasapa on camera. Greeting Ponte for joining with us. Ponte Kasapa is the executive director of the International Cambodia Buddhist Center based in Sri Lanka. Ponte is also the meditation trainer. Currently, he's staying at Vipassana Thura Buddhist Center in Udon of Cambodia. So welcome Ponte to our talk show. Our second speaker is Sister Kim Natimon. Welcome again to our show. It is our great pleasure to have you joining with us. Sister Natimon is the educator at the Panyasastra University of Cambodia. She's also the founder of Women in Buddhism Association that have been actively raise awareness and do a lot of Dhamma educations. Our another speaker is Sister Jenny Chim. Greetings, Sister. I know that is very early for you. Because we are, in Cambodia is nighttime, but for you it's very early morning. So we are very much happy to have you joining us. So Sister Jenny have worked with children for many years in many roles, but currently as a stay-at-home mom with two boys, one 10 years old and another is 6 months. So welcome. And another, last but not least, our brother Buntet Cham. It's very great honor to have you joining us tonight, brother. Brother Buntet. Brother Buntet is the educator. He also the leadership trainer and also the child development expert. Very passionate educator and a talented public speaker and storyteller. I used to meet you in a number of social events. You have very great insight, very passionate in sharing with society. It's very great honor to have you joining with us again tonight, because last week you also joined us and we have learned great deal from you. Not just the listener, but our moderator today, like Sister Conti have mentioned. Your method have been effectively applied, and we believe that other listener may also get great insight from you, and that may have a positive effect on their the way that they nurture their child. So again, we hope that our discussion today will be benefit to all listener. And as the co-moderator tonight, is we very excited to hear a lot from our discussion soon. So Sister Contier, please start.
Okay, so thank you, Sophia, for introduce the speaker to the audience. So let us begin with the experienced mother and experienced father. So I would like to ask your experience in it is the good practice that you have bring forward to nurture your child. So please give a specific example that you do in your daily life with your kids. So how you nurture your children. So please begin with Jenny. So Jenny, please.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for inviting me to speak today. One of the things that I find very important is to spend quality time with your children. And I know that being a stay-at-home mom, I have a lot of opportunities to do that. But when I was working, it was very limited. And so what does quality time look like? Well, it looks like just basically spending time with your children with absolutely no distraction and really engaging with your children. Really asking questions, and not just you asking questions, but let them ask you questions, and just have a genuine relationship with them. It's just like when you get to know your spouse, right? Like you want to understand them, you want to see how you can relate to them, see how you can get along with them. And so some of the quality time that I do with them, when I was working and had limited time, the only thing that we really had time for was dinner, and also reading my son to bed. And so that was, an opportunity for us just to wind down on our day, and we check in with each other, um, and see how our day is going. And when you spend these quality time, you're allowing your children to understand what love and respect is, and compassion, right? And that's why it's important to share what you're going through as well, and like how your day is going. Don't you shouldn't think that, you shouldn't just put your child on the spot. It's very important for you to be vulnerable with your children too, and that plays a big role as they get older, because as they get older, they're away from you, and so you want to know what's going on in their lives. And if you teach them to be vulnerable and allow yourself to be vulnerable with them, it's going to be easier for them to let you know what's going on in their lives. And as we know, life isn't always good, and if they're having a tough time, it's their parents that they rely on to give good advice, or just sometimes not advice, but just being there, validating their feelings, validating what they're going through. Some of us, we like to talk. We talk, but we want to feel like we're being heard. So when you're spending these quality time, be mindful of you. You might have your phone on you, and then you hear a beep, and then you check your phone, and that's just telling the children that that your phone matters more to you than them. And or like, don't have any TV in the background. Another thing that we love to do also is, in the car, we don't have anything on. We might have the radio playing in the background so that we can sing together, or just talk about what's going on in the news. But yeah, just have opportunities just to engage with them. And of course, reading to young children is amazing, just because you're sitting close to them, you're holding them, they feel safe, they feel secure, and then you're verbally interacting with them, and you can talk about how they feel about the book, how they feel about the characters, what they're getting from the books, just things like that. And also, it's okay. I mean, it's I think that as adults, sometimes we just need to get things done around the house, and we shoo away our children. Like, oh, go watch TV while I do the dishes, while I cook, or while I clean, and things like that. Involves them in that process as well. Children, they're learning from us. They're learning how to cook, clean, organize their life, and organize their home and room, and things like that. So invite them into those places. And one of the things that I love to do is, my son and I, one chore that we like to do together is folding laundry. I know it sounds crazy. Some kids will just be like, no. And yes, my son fought me on it, but there's a lot of lessons in it. There's even Dharma lessons in it too. My son, he likes to play, and he was really into origami. And so he would fold his clothes all crazy. And instead of saying, no, you got to do it my way, I let him do it. I say, okay, it was bugging me inside, but I let him do it. And then when he tries to put his clothes away, he can only fit 2 things. And I go, honey, that's why I'm teaching you how to fold it flat, so you can fit more things in the drawer. And then for him, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So now I've built this trust with my son. Now I've built this relationship where he realizes that, oh, mom does have some pretty good ideas. Maybe I should listen to her. And the more opportunities you have with your children, the more it becomes really relevant and important as they get older. Because those teenagers, I don't have a teenager, so I can't really speak on it, but I've been around a lot of them, and I've been one myself. that teenagers don't like to listen to their parents, right? So you have to instill that foundation with them, that you've got some good ideas, but a lot of it is our approach too. We got to come from a place of non-judgment. So just kind of like that example when I was letting my son fold his clothes all weird and crazy, I didn't say anything to him except for, that might not be efficient. And of course he's like, no, 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 I want to do it this way. So, our children they're gonna experiment, they're gonna find their own ways, but ultimately they'll realize that, maybe, it's even hits me till at 35 now. I'm just kind of like, my dad was right about this stuff. Oh, my mom was right about that. I wish I would have listened to them more. And so it's good just to build that foundation now when they're young, so that as they get older, there's not a lot of conflict between you and your children.
Thank you, Jenny. Sound really happy and also funny in the family. And I really like you said about the quality time when, like you said about when you are stay with them. So spend attention, listen to them, and also do the activity at home with them. So it get them involved in all our process of activity. It is really interesting that mostly that we as a mother, like when we focus to do something, we don't want the children to disturb. That's why it is also break the relation. But for you engage them all the activity of the process. So it is really interesting. And you also said about the love and respect, and also build them to be independent when they are grow up. So thank you, Jenny, for your sharing your idea. So please go to Brother Bonte. So the same question. So I would like to hear from you about how you nurturing your child. You can provide us the good example, and also how you nurture them, how you stay with them, and how you to spend time with them. Thank you.
Thank you. My high respect to venerable and distinguished guests and audience here. I think I learned a lot from Jenny. Just mentioned earlier about how she raised her kid by asking them questions, engaging with them, let them share their views, their perspective, and learn to listen. I think that's all the key component for us as parents trying to do, is trying to understand their needs, their concern, their motivation, listen to them more, be more empathetic to our kids. I think that's a key component. That's something I also trying to practice with my kids within my family circle. Something I'm trying to do every day with my children is actually something we try to do is to cultivate the habits of gratefulness. Like you mentioned from the beginning of the program, that practicing gratefulness is a key component of our daily activity. Like waking up early in the morning, that's something we are trying to do is at least even when we wake them up, we got into their room respectfully, just especially my boy. I'm not trying to push them to wake up. If he's still asleep, if it's time to wake up, I just carrying him and then out of the room, and I get him dress, clothes, I get him shoes, I get him shirt, and I get his face clean in the morning before we run into the stadium together to exercise in the early morning. And during that's a time when I practice gratefulness with him. I just say, honey, I love you. Baby, I love you. Let's enjoy another wonderful day together. Let's run. And he always want to win. There's a nature of a young boy, and he never want to be a boy. Actually, he wants to be a big boy. So being a big boy, his attitude is also always want to win. So let him enjoy that winning. So the first thing that I try to nurture in him is the habit of gratefulness. Uh, the habit of gratefulness here is what from what I practice is to give him a pure love from the bottom of my heart. To to give my boy, to give my daughter, my son, from the bottom of my heart, to gratefully accept him as he is in that morning, and joyfully, happily, just hold him with us before we do the activity. That's something I practice, try to nurture and cultivate as a family core habit, and using that moment to inspire us. That's also another ways of we can say another core of habit that we try to cultivate within our family is the habit of being inspired, being encouraged to enjoy another day. Like, I love you, baby. Let's enjoy another wonderful day. Let's do our best with what we learn, do our best with what we love, and just live the best life we could today. Live a most useful life we could be today. So being grateful, being inspired by the day, and having a clear vision of the day, that what are we going to do and what is the consequence of that action within the day. It's a key component. And it's another wonderful, another big habits that I'm trying to build within my kid is exercise, physical exercise, because like Lord Buddha mentioned, health is the best of all wealth. You cannot build a strong mind, a strong spirit when your physical well-being is not in place. So enjoy morning exercise with yourself, with your kid, with your beloved ones. It's not on for me. It's not only building a physical strength, but also at the same time being a connection, an intimate connection between me and my kid, building trust, like what Jenny just mentioned earlier, building trust between us so that they can share their views, their concerns, their perspective. And and our job as parents, that's my job as a father, is to sincerely listen to them. Actually, I have a lot of things to share. This is what from what I learned and from the experience I'm trying to do. The more I give space for my son to express himself, as I told you from last week, my son has a ADHD, attention deficit disorder. But the more I listen to him, the more he expresses himself, the creative he becomes, and the more confidence he becomes, and that's allowing him to sincerely nurture and cultivate himself in a proper way. So to me, from a very young age, the practice of gratefulness, the practice of ongoing inspiration every single day, and having a clear vision about where we are going to do and exercise are the key component I'm trying to do within my kid from different stage of life, like from 0 to 4. How can I play with them? And from 4 to 8, from 9 to 13, and especially from 9 to 19. It's a time where I have to be very sympathetic. I have to cultivate empathy. I need to allow my ears to work as much as it can rather than my words, because I know, like Jenny just mentioned, everything that comes from our mouths does not get into the ears anymore. What from their mouths can get into our ears, and the more we listen, the more influential we becomes with our kid. And when they seek for advice, that's time for us. Like, okay, it's time. And when they seek for advice, anything you tell them, that's the impact, that's the influence. So by
Yes,
doing that, I see that
Yes,
I think
thank you so much, brother. That is very great insight that you have shared with us. And as Sister Jenny also mentioned earlier, I think very interesting point you both have, kind of commonly share. And I can capture briefly that, it's about time, spending time more with kids. Like strengthen their physical strength. So it's about the body, time, body, space. Give them the space that they can express themselves, so that it can build further that trust between us, but the confidence that the kid can develop themselves. And the great insight. And I feel even after listening from you since last week, I even I'm not your kid, but I feel getting the kind of love, or the care that you have also spread to me. For example, the habit of gratefulness. Speaking to your children that I love you, baby. Let us have a wonderful day today. So it's a really powerful message, and I encourage all parents, or guardians of small children to start this kind of habit. It's very effective. So let us move next. I think we discuss a lot, but given time, so let us move to our context. Like to also hear from your insight. I think the two speakers have shared a lot of the good practice in nurturing the child, but we understood that a lot of parents also pursue a kind of violent approach. So would violent approach help to develop the kid at all, or if that would apply violently, what would be the impact on the child development, both in short and long term? So please, the floor to you, Pante.
Yeah, very good evening from Cambodia and very good morning to our friends in United States. And let me pay my respect to the Triple Gem and the Venerable Sirs, Bantes, especially Venerable Saktivi, the founder of Dhamma Life, our three speakers and two moderators and technical team behind the scene. So violence, or we can say being cruel or unkind, uncompassionate to your kids. I mean, it's a huge impact on having on their life, not only for the short term, but for the long term. So the impact can be in different ways. But let me say this: one thing is, uh, 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 for example, domestic violence is one thing, and another thing is, you uh, inflict or exact the punishment for him violently, can be an impact on, I mean, for his life. For example, he can become a cruel or violent one in future. Is I mean, when he is having a family, or having getting on with someone. And another reason is it's kinds of trauma when the violence is huge, when the violence is immense. It can be creating a depression, or we can say trauma or fear uh, for your child. So I mean, from psychological perspective, this is what I can say. It can be a trauma. It can be like it kinds of we can say uh, uh, a bad personality development for him in the future. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Pante, for your sharing. Sister Natimon, we would like to hear from you too regarding this question, about the violent approach. Would it help parents to succeed in the way to help children, or it will be harmful? Please.
Thank you very much, sister, for asking this important question. So first of all, I would like to pay my high respect to Venerable Kasapat and Venerable Sothivi. And good evening, sisters. Good evening, Sister Jenny from Cambodia. Good evening, brother, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To answer this question, whether the violence would be a way or a method in order to teach or educate children. To my perspective, since I study bachelor's degree in education, TESOL, and in that class there is one class that teach about personal growth and development, and another course is called character building. And in the lesson is to help the teacher to the way to teach the children in school, as well as we can use that to apply at home. And I also use that technique to apply at home as well. So to nurture the character for the children to help them behave well, we cannot punish them. When we punish them, it demotivates them, make them not able to do things that they are able to do. So this kind of violence or punishment, if we do we give them punishment, they are slowly developing because they have fear, they are not brave, and so many more things, and also affect to their future as well. And there are four things that will be affected by parents who use violence to educate children. So the four things are: one, the kids will copy the parents when they go to school or when they play with their friends. Second one, they are scared. They are not able to express their feeling or their emotion or their creativity because they are scared. And the third one is they will revenge for those who do the violence, like give them punishment, they will remember in their mind and they will revenge later. Like they don't listen, they don't love, they don't respect, and so on. And the connection between parents will lost because of revenge, or the kids will have hot temper with that. And the fourth one is their study will be not good anymore. Their study will be lower and lower because they don't have feeling, no comfort, no encouragement to study. So these four things that are affected to the children in short term as well as in the long run. So as parents, we need to have proper technique in order to educate children. They should not use the punishment tool any way to help to make children behave well. In the personal growth and development and also character building class, we always talk about stick or carrot. Yes. So according to the survey, the children change themselves, behave well when they get a carrot, not when they get a stick. They get a stick, it means they get a punishment. Carrot means the reward. So we need to form or create the rewarding system. There are so many kind of rewarding system that we can give to the children, and as well as the teacher that can use in school as well. There are many kind of rewarding systems. Like at school, we give some more extra points. We give them praise. like in front of other kids, and at home as well. Parents can give them encouragement, like rewarding. For example, if they can do well, they get something, some attention, some more attention, or parent bring them to the place they want to go. This kind of reward system that parent can help. And for me, even though I don't have kids, but I have cousins, they are small, start from 1, 2, 3 years old, and now they are, some of them are 10. When I go to my hometown, they always come to play with me, come to welcome me, because the way I interact with them is more special than they spend time with their parents. When they talk, I always listen to them carefully, and they kind of express themselves well with me rather than talk with their parents. The way they talk to their parents, like not so friendly, instead more fear and some kind of barrier, no bouncing like when they are with me. So no bounding, sorry, no bounding when they are with me. So I can tell that if we change from uh, punishment or violence into the rewarding system, is better. And one more thing is, this is a real case at school. I asked some of the children that misbehave in class, like fighting or the attention is less than other kids. When I ask them, I ask them the only one thing I ask them is not their about their behavior. I ask about their parents to see how their parents behave. And most of them, their parents are misbehave. Yes, their parents sometimes divorce, sometimes always fight each other, argue each other, and sometimes always shout and fight the children. That's why when they come to school, they have problem at school. So for this case, I would like to share these ideas to the audience that are watching right now. If you have children, please do not punish them or do not use violence to help them to change, to help them to educate them, but give the reward. So uh, if the children get more punishment, they behave bad, not good. Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you so much,
much.
Simon. It's a very a good, like encouragement for parents to apply the rewarding system rather than the punishment, because the consequence can be, harmful than useful. So, thank you. We would like to also hear from Brother Buntet. I believe that you may have a lot to share, but please kindly be brief at how you feel about violent approach that could affect to the child development, or should we apply violent approach in combination with the gratefulness habit as you say, or it should not be applied at all, please.
Thank you. Actually, it depends. When kids at a very young age, for example, like from 0 to 8 years old, any verbal, physical, and mental violation should be prohibited within that periods of time, because kid learns to absorb everything by then. Kids learn, like I mentioned from previous week, from 0 to 4. Something they learn is the punishment. They don't know what is right and what is wrong, but when you punish them, even a physical punishment or verbal punishment, they know that thing is not right. And when you reward them, they know that thing is right. And it depends, for example, and that's how they absorb, and that will be with them for long times in their life. For example, and they don't know what is right and what is wrong. For example, like a lot of Cambodian parents, they actually Cambodian adults, they like to play with kids. Sometimes they teach kids to curse, and we know that cursing is wrong. And when they curse, and then we start to applaud them, hey, that's a great job, I give you candy. So what kids learn from that reward is that cursing is right. And later on in life, when they go to grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, that's how they exposed that experience, that perception, like they start cursing their each others, they start cursing each other's parents. So that's a reward system that given them wrong. And to me, that kind of reward system connectively and mentally violating the fundamental growth of kids. And another, for example, like violence. For example, kid from 1 to 4, asking a lot of questions, like, Daddy, what is this? What is that? What is this? And what is that? And sometimes you get annoyed by that, and you just say, stop asking. It's terrible. So that to kid at that age mean punishment, and by that they're gonna believe that asking is wrong. So they're gonna stop asking questions. And you know what the consequence when they stop asking questions? They stop being curious. They don't want to know more. And that's the problem that Cambodian kids sitting in a classroom for 5 hours asking no questions, because they experience in their home that when they ask questions, they get blamed by their parents. Even a verbal blames cause a long-term effect in kid learnings and development. So, like I said, from 0 to 8 years old, I wish all parents would be very, very careful the way they reward and punish kids. Don't reward something that is wrong. Even though I know a lot of adults' attention is to play, to teach kids to curse. It's fun, it's cute. They curse so sweet, but give them reward on that connectively violate their capability to grow, and trying to stop keeping them from asking questions is also a violating them from being curious. And another, physical violence is also brought a lot of bad examples to kids, that sometimes the best way to fix the problem is violence. Later on in life, they will nurture and cultivate that. When kids turn 8, like from 9, that sometimes you have to have a little bit tough conversation, but better avoid physical violence, because that also give them a bad example of dealing with problems through violence. But that's time you can have like a tough conversation, tough talk, because that's time they already have a cognitive credibility that we can say critical. They're critical enough to challenge us, to ask us difficult questions. So at that, sometimes we have to be a little bit tough and critical to them when they are 9 years and above, but avoid physical violence and mental violence, cognitive violence at the stage from 0 to 8 is crucial. And if it is best from 0 to 19, that's the best, or for the rest of their life. Just being grateful, inspire them to learn, that's the best. But if you cannot do that, and you still adopt violent approach from the previous generation, just try to make sure from 0 to 8 to 9 years old, please, let them be them, let them learn their way. And
Thank
just
you, brother.
be an example. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you, brother. Very helpful, and I like the term that you mentioned. And in fact, it is the truth that like when we apply the violent approach, it will violate the fundamental growth of the kids. So I think we have to be careful. And like you mentioned, from age 0 to 8 years old, it is the time of the connective development of kids is very crucial. So yeah, it's very insight. And I just before I move to Sister Jenny, I just want to remind to our audience that our discussion is about the nurturing the offspring with Dhamma. So if you have any useful comment or inquiry question, feel free to leave the comment in our page there. So we will pick up at some point during our discussion. So Sister Jenny, you have anything to share regarding this question concerning the violent approach to child development? Please share with us briefly. You should unmute yourself as well.
Sure. I just wanted to second and reiterate that Mong Buntet and Mong Kuntia or Natimong, sorry, that they hit it right on the spot. But I would like to add that ultimately, as you mentioned, that like the aggression is maybe coming from you as a parent. And that's why the practice of mindfulness is so important, because it will help you kind of understand your own stress factors, what's getting you angry, what's getting you upset, because whatever that is, it's obviously coming out in our children, just like Mongbotet is saying, they absorb that and they're picking up and they learn from you. So you have to ask yourself, are you speaking aggressively? And it doesn't even have to be directly towards the child. The child could understand and pick up from you interacting with another person or another adult or another sibling. So if you're speaking aggressively to your partner or your husband, for example, your child's going to be like, oh, that's how you talk normally. And so it normalizes that aggressive behavior. And then when they get into the real world where they're interacting with other folks, again, they think that that's typical and normal. This is how you express yourself, by being angry, by shouting, by throwing things, or by hitting or whatever. So you really got to, as a parent, really keep yourself in check. And be mindful of your own behavior. And a lot of the times it's because we have our own trauma, like we are dealing with our own issues that we have not resolved yet. And I've spent many years in and out of therapy. And it's finally when I finally took refuge in the Triple Gem was when I finally found peace, when I finally found a way out of my anger, a way out of the trauma that I had experienced, that my parents had experienced. And now I get to break that trauma cycle with my children. And, when you spend that time loving your children, being grateful for your children, then you're spending time focusing on you're spending your energy on love and kindness rather than aggression, anger, resentment, right? And so I love to say that, children, we should be grateful for them because there's so many lessons that they teach us, right? They're my children was my inspiration to get better, my inspiration to be more mentally happy and healthy. And I am so grateful for that. And I am so grateful to them for that. And so, you can say the love and stuff like that, and it's great. But when you can feel it and then feel that and then put it on them like that, then they can also feel that they're important in this world, that they matter in this world. And once you go into that direction, it's it's just more positive and more peaceful. You're raising your child, because as parents, one of our biggest fears is that our children will grow up to be sad and angry and resentful. We fear that people will hurt them, and we got to train them and give them good examples of how to handle anger, how to handle resentment, how to handle people that are doing that to us. And a lot of the time it's showing grace, is showing compassion, is showing love, but it starts with the direct relationship that you have with your children. It's the direct relationship between parent and child. It's such a core thing. And yes, that age of 1 to 4 is so important. And remember that they're not there to understand discipline yet. So that's why it's very difficult sometimes to discipline those young children, because they don't understand that concept yet. But just like the Dharma and how the Dharma speaks to you through your life experience, the more experience you have, the more the Dharma begins to make sense. That's exactly how you should treat your children. There's the right time for everything. Sometimes they got to learn, sometimes they got to experience life, and then boom, you hit them with some knowledge. You hit them with some, in America, it's truth bombs. And yeah, it's again, when you focus your mind on positive and you're focusing your energy towards your children on love and kindness, then the aggression is put to the side. But it's extremely important that ultimately it comes down to our own healing, our own resolving of our own trauma. And yes, maybe our mom and dad talk to us like that, and maybe that's why we develop those habits too. So how do you break it? And for me, learning the Dharma and learning about how the Buddha taught about peace and how to find joy, how to find contentment, like that has taught me a lot. And I'm able to pass that on to my children. And then when I speak of the Dharma and I say to my son, oh, I go to the temple here, I do this, that is actually interesting to him because when my child was young, before I guess the word take refuge in the Dharma, I was really quick tempered, right? And then I went on a 10-day meditation retreat, and I learned how to meditate. I learned how to calm myself down. My son, he can see the difference in me before and in now. And now when I say, oh, this stuff really helps me, he's just like, oh, dude, I remember my mom used to be this person and now she's so much nicer because she says she meditates. Maybe I should learn how to meditate. Maybe this stuff really works. And the next thing you know, he's interested in the Dharma too. And that's exactly how you can teach your children, is through experience. You don't have to lecture them all the time. You don't have to just read them books. It doesn't have to come academically. It's through your own life experience. That's why it's important for you to also be vulnerable with your children too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you very much. So yes, violence is not a solution. It's to create a problem. And like Jenny raised about when the parent expression, it will observe when the children will observe all the expression from the parent. So the parent should be mindful all the activity because violence is quickly spread to the children. And thank you very much. And so let's move to hear from Pante Kasapat. So about the Buddhism perspective. So what the Buddha taught us about how to nurture the child.
Thank you, sister, for the question. So, in many ways, in terms of nurturing the offspring, have been elaborated from your own experiences and from different perspectives. Buddhist approach is unique, and to be honest, it's quite different. In terms of nurturing the kid. So, but before going to the scripture, let me say this: the most important things parents have to keep in their mind is you have to know your exact role in nurturing a kid. So Buddhism will explain you what is your role. In nurturing your kid, what you want them to be. You want them to be educated, you want them to be rich, or you want them to be someone else. So according to Singalovada Sutta, there are 5 duties of parent. So let me read it, then I will go for the analysis. Restrain from the evil, encourage them to do good, train them for a profession, arrange a suitable marriage, hand over the inheritance to them at the proper time. So these are the duties of the parent. And from Buddhist perspective, spiritual development is much more important than everything. And as you mentioned, Brother Munte, Sister Jenny, Natimon, all have, been mentioning about spiritual development, being kind, being compassionate, grateful, So everything is about spiritual development. This is the much concern that Buddhism impose. I use the word impose, even it sounds a little bit, weird, to the parents to understand that the spiritual development is the most important thing you have to let your child understand. So let me move to another sutta. We call it Suppatikara Sutta. Let me read the Pali. Bahukara bhikkhave mata pitara puttana apadaka. So Buddha called the monk, dear monks, parents are much supportive. Why? They are apadaka. So apadaka here means they are leaders, they are directors, they are caregivers, they are protectors. So from Buddhist point of view, you parents are not supposed only to protect or take care or facilitate the material things to the kids. They must spiritually take care of the children. So again, posaka means fosterers. Father and mother not only foster their children only with giving the food and other stuff. But let me make this point. Buddhism recommends very profoundly about fostering your offspring with the milk. So because everything, milk contains everything from this perspective. Good energy, how to say that? Your intelligent quality and other stuff. So that is why it is recommended to drink the mother's milk. And when it comes to the fostering, emphasizes on mental, you can say spiritual fostering. You must let them learn about everything connecting to the mind. And the final one is very important. You must impart to them to know about the world. About the world here is related to the inner world and the outside world. So this entire process is not can be done overnight. It's a long life process. It's a daily dedication. It's a daily commitment. So you must teach them to know the world, to know themselves, and especially to understand how the outside world is being operated. So it's a huge responsibility from this point of view. And that is why parents are called Mahabrahma, who are endowed with compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And parents are the first teachers and the foremost teacher of their kid, and they are the protectors from this point of view. So we have more in scripture, but what I want to explain you is Buddhism holds a very unique view when it comes to the nurturing of offspring. Buddhism, concern more about spiritual development. Because you know why? Because nurturing a child is a sacred, is a holy and divine duty. Because nurturing child is like planting a seed for a sake of your future. So as parents, what you have to understand is you are nurturing your child to be only educated, to be rich, or what? From this point of view, you must nurture your child not only to be rich, not only to be educated, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be grateful, to be friendly, and teach them to forgive when it is really hard. So finally, let me summarize. So when it comes to the nurturing a child from Buddhist point of view, is Buddhism emphasizes on four development: physical development, we can say physical well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, and social well-being. So that's all from me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kante. It's a lot of very good points from the Buddhism perspective regarding how to nurture the child. As Kante mentioned about uh, the parents' role is really important to be directed, a caregiver, to be a protector, and Buddhism is focused on the spiritual development. And one more thing that Bhante mentioned about how to make the physical strength for the child when they are very young, mean to provide the mother's milk. It is to promote the mother's milk to the children with a young age, because it is really nurturing with full vitamin and develop for them physical and also mental development. Um, Thank you for mention about how to educate, not to being rich or to make a lot of money, but to be being kind, to be being compassionate, grateful, and also friendly. And especially the last word is about forgive all any mistake, or learn how to forgive others. So thank you very much about this point. So I would like to ask, continue ask Pante Kasapa about how, because parents always ask question how to put the Dhamma to their children. So how to start, and how to begin that they would introduce the Buddhism to their child. So which age that should be? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sister. From Buddhist point of view, and for the facts that everyone has mentioned, is I think about building up a foundation is very important, or setting an example is very important. So no need to wait until you are becoming a father, a mother, or having first kid or second. No, I think even during having affair, or even before that, you can practice Dhamma. You can practice to be kind. You can practice to be compassionate, and especially as everyone has mentioned, that learn to be mindful, not to be aggressive. So because practice take times, take persistence, and take patience. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a long life process. It's a daily dedication. It's a daily commitment. So if you want your child to be intelligent, to be kind, to be compassionate, as parents, mother and father must practice, good qualities as much as possible. No need to wait until the pregnancy, period, or to be a father, to be a mother. No, you can practice Dhamma wherever you want, especially before you are having the kid. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Pante, for this sharing, because I think last few weeks there's also audience asked, if they want to start to introduce the Dhamma to their kid at what age. So I hope our audience can hear. I think mainly, don't wait, start to practice Dhamma by ourselves, because when we nurture ourselves, we can nurture well to our kids. And I think from my practice as well, through the Vipassana course, I have learned that, for parents who start doing Vipassana, and especially for mother during the pregnancy, it will be very helpful, because the kid, the child in our womb can, start adapting and learning. So, start as soon as you can, before you start pregnancy. But when during the pregnancy, you can practice the Dhamma, so it can help to nurture to the kids in that early stage. Come up next, I think we also receive a question from our audience, Chan Boray Non. I'm not sure if he or she, but they ask about, I like to ask one question. It is, if the child is not obedient to his parents or teacher, he or she is a pig-headed. So should we practice some violence action to his or her, or should we still try to find a reward system method? I think this question is similar to what I want to ask to our speaker, Sister Jenny. How would you advise to parents who have aggressive or undisciplined child? And link with our audience question earlier, should we, apply some violence or still using the reward system as you and other speakers have mentioned earlier? So the floor is you.
Sure, thank you. I would say that violence is not the answer. I think it's going to take a lot of patience from you as the parent to handle the situation. And I think that oftentimes aggression is rooted in fear. And it's our responsibility as parents to figure out what that fear is. And if your child is already in the stage of aggression, violent aggression towards parents or teachers, or other children, most likely there's a fear that is rooted in the parents, and it's hard to admit and it's hard to accept. And so this is why when approaching aggression, it's very important to practice equanimity, non-judgment. And one thing that children fear the most is losing you as a parent. Whether, our children don't understand why you're suddenly putting them in a care of somebody else, right? So in America, it's very common for mothers to go to work as well. And go to work, we leave our children with somebody else. And it's very common in this day and age that oftentimes that other person is not a grandparent or it does not live in that household. So the child hasn't even developed a relationship with that caretaker yet. And then suddenly you're just leaving them there, right? And as a parent, you've been the person that's helped them survive. You fed them, you kept a shelter over their heads, you've kept them safe. And so all of a sudden, you're leaving them with this person, and they don't know if that's going to be the case. They don't know if this person is going to feed them. And remember, they're young children. They don't understand the concept that mom and dad has to go to work to provide a good home or and food for them. And so they don't understand that concept yet. So the best thing to do when it comes to that is, again, always reassuring the children that they are loved, that they are secure, and that you as a parent have to make this decision. But when my child was very young and I was working, I would always tell him, I always come back for you. Remember, mommy always comes back for you, right? And then when we do come together again, we spend that quality time. We're interacting, we're engaging with each other. And so we're strengthening back that bond that he at first was beginning. It was, kind of not breaking, but there's that distrust. Will you leave me with somebody I don't even know? But when I do have him back, is rebuilding that trust again. So I would say, again, oftentimes a child is aggressive because there's that fear of losing you as a parent, or even disappointing you as well, because if you disappoint the parent, then the parent becomes upset. And it depends on how you handle your aggression, right? It depends on how you handle disappointment. If you get angry too quickly, then the children's not going to want to talk to you, and they're going to express themselves in a more violent way. So again, if your children are already at that point, be patient with them. I beg you to please be patient with them. Practice compassion. Try to understand where they're coming from. And also, you've got to role model yourself. You got to show them, okay, rather than being angry at this person or rather than hitting them, take a deep breath, calm yourself down. Go to a safe place. Maybe you need to talk to a teacher. My son one time came home and he slammed the door, and he never does this. And at first it kind of shook me because he always comes home happy. Most of the time his days are pretty good. And all of a sudden he comes and he's angry at something. And at first I didn't just yell at him. I didn't say, "Don't slam the door. Why are you slamming that door for?" That's the wrong way to approach it. Instead, I gave him some space. I said, "Whoa, what's going on? You're never like this." And at first he didn't want to talk to me. And we all know when our anger is up there, we sometimes will say and act the wrong way. And so I gave him time to cool down a little bit. And then later in the day, I asked him what was going on, and he told me that he was being bullied, that somebody was hurting him. And then we talked about ways that to make him feel safe again. And in that process, I let him also make suggestions on how best to approach it, what makes him feel comfortable as well. So it's really important, just patience and compassion, and again, approaching it in in equanimity, because sometimes when we realize it's us, it's our fault in some way, we begin to feel guilty. We begin to take it personal, and then all of a sudden we're punishing ourselves. Therefore, we're punishing our children again, and that's not productive at all. So,
thank you. Yes, thank you, Sister Jenny. Very insightful, because you mentioned again about non-judgment. This is very key, because sometimes we jump to conclusion quickly. What's matter? Why you do this? Rather than asking what's wrong. Instead of why, or yelling. So. And sometimes it is the problem of ourselves too. We forget that, we feel that the child is aggressive or undisciplined, but it may be also us who may be, aggressive ourselves. So probably take a step as a parent to cool down ourselves before communicating with kids. And yes, and try to understand, listen them more. Very useful tip. And I would like to also hear from Natimon. You have any insight at how parents should do, when they have aggressive or undisciplined child?
Yes, thank you very much. And before I answer this question, I would like to continue from Sister Jenny. Yeah, I want to raise her points that she already mentioned, is to make your mind calm first. Don't be aggressive and talk to the kids, because it's like the words is like harsh word to the kids and make them not feel good. This is really a good point that parents should understand. Yeah, this from Sister Jenny perspective, I really like that. And for my ideas, I believe that when we have kids that are undisciplined, misbehave, we cannot always give them punishment, because punishment doesn't really work in this generation, because kids like to hear more good words. So based on my perspective, I have 3 ways for helping the kids to behave rather than have a punishment to them. So the first one is explanation don't work. Explanation don't work, but condition work. I will explain it later. And second one is severe, harsh, or long consequences don't work. And the third one is communication. So for explanation, don't work means if the kids want to play and the parent tell them you cannot play because it's time for you to go to bed, because it's time for you to eat, something like that, explanation, it doesn't work, because kids always want to hear what they want to hear. Yeah, so if the parents not allow, or they ask the parent, can I play? Can parents say no? Then this is what they don't want to hear. So if parents try to explain, it doesn't work. But let's say yes and give them condition later. For example, if the kids want to go out to play, but their room is so messy, the parent can say, yes, you can go to play if your room is clean. So if the kids really want to go to play, make sure their room is clean. But if they still go anyway, then the parent can make a strong commitment to force the children to make sure the room is clean first. If the parent just neglect follow up the work, then the kids does not listen later. So be strict with them. And yes, this is a real case that happened yesterday with a kid. He's a little bit stubborn. He's not bad, but he's like always want to get what he wants. His servant or his cleaner go outside, and he's so small, like 4 years old. I don't want him to go out with his cleaner. So everyone call him to come back inside. He doesn't go inside the house. And then I call him to come near me. At first, he doesn't come. So I count from three, two, one. I make a serious sound and then he come to me. I ask him what he wants. You want cake? You want candy? He said he want candy. And then I said, okay, you want candy? And then I shout to the cleaner, okay, sister, please buy him candy if you have money. But if you don't have money, no need to buy for him, okay? And then the cleaner just go. And then I talk to the kid, okay, boy, if she has money, she will buy for you. If she doesn't have money, she will not buy for you. So let's wait and see. And then he go inside satisfied. But I know that the cleaner does not have money to buy for him. But to cool himself down a little bit, we must say what he wants to hear first. Later on, he will forget. He will forget very fast. Okay, so next one is severe, harsh, long consequences does not work. It means, for example, if the kids like jump on the sofa and then you say, if you jump or you spill the coke or you spill something on the floor like that, you go in the room for 3 hours, 4 hours. Like this is the severe or harsh consequence, long consequences for a kid. But actually, it does not work. This works only for the attitude kid, but for the misbehaved kid, it does not work. The attitude kid, they will think, oh, because I do something bad and I have to face this kind of situation. So later on, I will not do it again. But for the misbehaved kids, they will go inside the room. If it's locked down, they will cry and they will find something to pleasure themselves. So long consequences does not work for misbehaved kid. But to work with them when they misbehave, send them in the room in every 5 minutes if they misbehave. Like for example, if you jump or if you don't listen, you go to your room 5 minutes, and 5 minutes later on, you go pick him out. And then he misbehave again, put him in the room 5 minutes again. Some short consequence like this, it will work rather than the long consequence for the misbehaved child. So the word saying here is, the more you get him to do something and something happens like he does not like, the faster behavior will change. So it means if you make them do the short consequences, like put them into the room in every 5 minutes, it's better than put him 2 or 3 hours. Or if he wants to play phone game, if he does not behave, you say, oh, you cannot play game for 1 week, or you cannot play game forever. Then it's kind of long consequence and he does not understand that. But if we give them direct and shortly and fast consequence, he will understand. If you misbehave, you cannot play your iPad for 1 day or for this breakfast or this lunch time, something like that. So can help them. And last one is communication, is to listen to them what they really need. Yes, sometimes they have problem, so they need to express and we need to understand them. So these are the 3 things for parents to educate misbehaved kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Natimon, for your really good point for aggressive and or undisciplined child that you have been um, study on the child development. So it's time's up. So we have no more time. So we only just want to hear very last word from the speaker. So what would you like to leave here? Any message to the parents? So start with brother Bonte.
Yeah, thank you, Bong. Yeah, very wonderful insight from everybody here. Venerable Jenny, Simon, wonderful thought. Something I would like to just leave here, just do whatever we can every day, every morning. Just practice gratefulness with our spouse, with our kids, with our parents. That's a habit that we have to nurture within ourselves, like Jenny mentioned. That kind of nurturing make a huge impact to the people. So be grateful, be inspired, and exercise every day is a key, and making sure that we practice mindfulness most of the time. I think that's the key that parents need to nurture within themselves, and that kind of nurturing will make an impact. We can say have a positive impact on the kids and their surrounding. That's something I would like to leave for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Bonte. So move to Sister Jenny. So would you like to have last word for this show tonight? Turn on your mute, please. Turn on your mute.
Sure, thank you. Just just remember that the biggest reward for a child is your love. The biggest reward for a child is your support. And by practicing the Dharma, by practicing love and compassion, and by understanding how to bring peace to yourself, you're already teaching them the Dharma by already implementing that in your daily life. So don't have too much pressure on introducing that. As long as you're practicing it, they're going to understand. Again, our children are absorbing everything. And the most important thing is that, again, your love, your support, your security that you provide for them is the most rewarding thing. So always focus your energy on that rather than focusing on the anger that your child may be going through, or the resentment or the bad behaviors. Put your energy more on the good that they're doing. When they are sharing their candy with a friend, that's a good thing. When they are telling their friend, oh, thank you for playing with me today, reward them by saying, wow, that was really nice of you. Always focus. And I know that sometimes as parents, we focus on the negative. Like if our children's jumping off the bed, that's when we pay attention to them. But try to pay attention to them when they are being good and actually making comments about that. So if your child finished with his homework, great job, now we can go play. If your child is sitting down and eating for dinner, oh, thank you for spending time with us and eating dinner with us and talking with us today. That's a way to show them gratitude too. So live the Dharma, practice the Dharma, they'll pick it up, and it'll be easier for them to understand when they get older too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So Sister Timon, so please, your last word for tonight.
Yes, thank you. My last word for tonight's show is be a role model for your kids, because kids learn from the example that parents show them. So if you want the kids to behave well, make sure you behave well first. And if you want kids to understand about Dhamma, you must learn Dhamma, like Sister Kontia, like Sister Jenny, yeah, like Brother Bontet, yes. So we all learn about Dharma. We spread Dharma to the kids. That's lead by example. So be a role model for your kids. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Timon. So so the last speaker, so Pante Kaspa, so your last word for tonight, please.
Okay, first you have to create a clear vision why you are nurturing your offspring, why you are nurturing your kids. So the vision must be clear. And second one, study your weaknesses, your bad habits, rather than changing your child bad habits. Change your ones first. That is why before raising your kids, raise yourself first. And the last but not the least, don't try to be perfect parents, but try to be happy parents. So that's all from me. So because what you are planting is a seed for your future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ponte, and our speaker. Our Dhamma talk now come to the end, and I'm very thankful to you all for joining us, spending time with us as always, sharing great insight to our audience. I believe that our audience learn a lot tonight. We as a moderator also learn, so I will I feel so thankful, and I don't know how to say, but I get a sense of great love from you all. Thank you so much for being a great role model to all of us. And I would like to thank as well to Sister Bobka, our technical team, who kindly offer the support behind the stand so that our Dhamma talk could be possible. Last but not least, our sincere thanks to Ponte Sok TV, who's have tirelessly instructed and extended support to us, encourage us to come to the show, and having led a lot of initiative in Dhamma discussion. Now, before we end, we would like to invite all Dhamma friends to join us for Metta meditation, in which Ponte Kassapa will be leading, and may the merits for our merit of our sharing tonight be shared with all living beings. I'm Sophia. Tonight, moderator together with Sister Kuntir, we would like to thank you all and goodbye. Our Metta meditation begins.
Hello everyone. Let us practice loving friendliness meditation for oneself. Self-loving friendliness meditation is the first section of Metta meditation. Self-loving friendliness meditation is designed to direct you to happily take care of yourself, to honestly forgive yourself, to truly accept yourself without conditions. Before starting, please find a very comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Relax your head, your shoulders, your arms, and your entire body. Please slowly take a very deep breath 3 times. When it is done, let your breath flow as naturally as it does. Observe your breath without judgment, reactions, and criticism. Just merely observe it as the way it is, while you are listening to my Pali Metta chanting. Aham Averomi Sukhe attanam pariharami. Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. Visualize your happy and smiling face. You are very happy person with smiling face. Please keep smiling with honest heart because you are going to bless yourself. Please be aware of the phrases which I am going to recite and let yourself honestly feel the real meanings of the phrases. May I be well and happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from anger. May I be free from physical and mental sufferings. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. Now, take your right hand and place it on your chest, and you can mentally repeat after me. In this home, we are family. We live under the same shelter, so we must be kind to each other, be compassionate to each other, be friendly to each other, help each other, respect one another, be happy every day, keep smiling with honest heart, be grateful, be positive, forgive when it's really hard. Before open your eyes, please take again a very deep breath 3 times. Thank you. May you be well and happy.